how did the Dance of the Dragons actually start? Everyone points at one moment near the end of Season 1, a boy and a dragon over Storm's End, but the truth is, this war was baked in years before that, and it all comes down to a handful of questions. So let's actually go through them. But before any of that, what actually is the Dance of the Dragons? It's the name history gave to a savage civil war inside House Targaryen. One family split clean in two, both halves claiming the Iron Throne and fought on the backs of dragons. The name is grimly ironic. Because there was nothing graceful about it, it burned half the realm and very nearly wiped the dragons off the face of the earth. By the time it was over, more than half the dragons in the world were dead, and the family never truly recovered, so what you're really watching is a house talking itself into destroying the one thing that made it untouchable. So how does one single family end up turning its own dragons on each other? It starts with a simple question that nobody could agree on. Who was the rightful heir? For the longest time, King Viserys had no son, just a daughter, Rhaenyra. The realm had rules for this sort of thing. Years earlier, they'd already passed over a woman, Rhaenys, and handed the crown to Viserys instead, purely because she was a woman. So when Viserys turned round and named his own daughter his heir, and made every great lord in the realm kneel and swear an oath to her, he was going against the grain, and everybody knew it. That oath is the hinge the entire war turns on. Because then Viserys remarried to a young woman called Alicent Hightower, and she gave him the one thing he'd always wanted: sons. And just like that, there were two people with a claim to one throne, a named daughter and a true-born boy, and nobody had a plan for it. And stood right behind those boys was Alicent's father, Otto Hightower, the king's own hand, the most powerful man at court who wasn't wearing the crown, and he now had grandsons with the blood of the dragon in their veins. From that day on, he had every reason in the world to make sure one of them ended up on the throne. So why did the court split into greens and blacks? This is the part a lot of people miss. Alicent wasn't some stranger who married in. She was Rhaenyra's best friend growing up, and then she went to marry Rhaenyra's father and became her stepmother, and that friendship turned into something really poisonous. It boils over at Rhaenyra's wedding, where Alicent walks in late wearing a bright green gown, and every single person in that hall knows exactly what green means. It's a declaration of war in the shape of a dress. From that night, the court is two camps. The blacks behind Rhaenyra, the greens behind Alicent and her children, and the names literally come from the colours at that feast. It gets worse over the years too, because Rhaenyra's sons grow up looking nothing like her husband's silver-haired family, and half the court is whispering they're not truly his. That rumour hands the Greens all the ammunition they'll ever need. So why did the Greens crown Aegon instead of the named heir? Because of a misunderstanding on a deathbed. Viserys is dying, half eaten away by illness, and on his last night, drugged and confused, he mistakes Alicent for Rhaenyra in the dark. He starts murmuring about an old Targaryen dream, a prophecy about a prince who was promised, the one who's meant to hold back a great darkness one day. And that dream is tied up with the name Aegon, as in Aegon the Conqueror. But here's the cruel part, Alicent was never told any of that. All she hears is her husband, with his dying breath, saying the name of their son. So she believes he finally chose Aegon for the throne. He didn't. He was talking about a prophecy from centuries back. But that one misunderstanding is all her father Otto needs. And Otto had been waiting a long time for a night exactly like this one. The moment Viserys is gone, the Greens don't sit around debating it. They put a plan years in the making straight into motion. There's only one snag. The man they want to crown doesn't actually want it. Aegon has spent his whole life ducking every scrap of responsibility, and when they go to fetch him for his own coronation, he's nowhere to be found, off hiding in the city while his mother and grandfather tear the capital apart to drag him back. Viserys dies, and within hours the Greens move. They crown Aegon II before the body's even cold, and they do it before Rhaenyra on her island even knows her own father is gone. So why didn't the Blacks strike back the moment the crown touched Aegon's head? Because they came within a whisker of it, and then blinked. At the coronation itself, the old Queen Rhaenys, the very woman the realm had passed over all those years before, is being held by the Greens when she breaks loose, gets down into the dragon pit, and climbs onto her dragon. She brings Meleys straight up through the floor of the ceremony, the whole hall scattering around her, and for a few long seconds she has the entire Green Court, Aegon, Alicent, Otto, the lot of them, sat right in front of an open dragon's mouth. One word from her and this war is over before it even begins. And she doesn't give it. She turns, flies out, and hands the choice straight back to Rhaenyra. Call it mercy, call it a flinch, but that was the last clean chance anyone had to end this cheaply. So here's the big one. Who actually drew first blood? Because a stolen crown is a crisis, it isn't yet a war. Rhaenyra tries to keep it cold. She sends her two eldest boys out as messengers, not soldiers, to win the great houses over to her side. The younger one, Lucerys, flies to Storm's End, and he gets there only to find his uncle Aemond has beaten him to it, perched on the biggest dragon alive. Now you have to understand Aemond, because this is personal. As a boy, he was the family joke, the only Targaryen without a dragon, until one night he crept out and claimed that ancient monster for himself, and lost an eye to Lucerys in the fight the very same night. He never forgot it. So Lucerys turns to leave, Aemond gives chase to put a fright in him, and it slips out of everyone's control. That old dragon plucks the boy and his little dragon clean out of the sky. Aemond's face afterwards says he didn't fully mean it. Doesn't matter. A child is dead, a queen's son, and there's no talking anyone down after that. And the Blacks answer in kind, and this is where Daemon comes into his own. Daemon is Viserys' younger brother, the family's black sheep, a man who once expected to be heir himself before Rhaenyra was ever named, and he spent a lifetime reaching for a throne that keeps sliding out of his grasp. Where his wife Rhaenyra wants to move slowly and keep the moral high ground, Daemon wants blood on the board now. So he sends two men into the Red Keep in the dark to kill Aemond, and when they can't find him, they take the life of a child on the other side instead. A son for a son. Now it's a war. So why couldn't they pull back once the killing had started? Because of what happens at a place called Rook's Rest. The Greens set a trap, and Rhaenyra sends the old warrior queen Rhaenys to break it, not knowing Aemond is lying in ambush. And in the chaos, Aemond makes a choice that tells you everything about him. His own brother, King Aegon, flies in to play the hero, and Aemond, seeing his chance, turns the biggest dragon in the world on both of them and burns his own brother out of the sky. Rhaenys is killed, Aegon is left barely alive, burned head to foot, and only Aemond knows he did it on purpose. After that, there's no going back. Aemond takes the reins as Prince Regent, cold and cruel, and both sides stop pretending this ends in a treaty. So, why couldn't anyone broker a peace? People did try. Rhaenyra even slips into the city and meets Alicent in secret near the end, the two women who were once best friends, and Alicent, worn down and sick of all of it, actually offers to open the gates, knowing full well the price is her own son's life. She just wants it over. But it's too late. The machine is already moving. Both sides are racing to put more dragons in the sky, and Rhaenyra does the unthinkable. She throws open the doors and offers her spare dragons to low-born Targaryen bastards, ordinary people with a single drop of the blood in them, and plenty who try are burned for their trouble. But against all odds, a handful of them live and take to the air, and just like that, she has the dragons she needs to match the greens overhead. So instead of a peace, you get an arms race. And that's your answer. The Dance of the Dragons didn't start because of one boy over Storm's End. It started because a king named a daughter and never truly made the realm accept it, because two families chose their sons and their pride over a sworn oath, and because every last one of them had a dragon, so a family falling out turned into the worst civil war the Seven Kingdoms had ever seen. Season 2 leaves you right there on the edge of it, every dragon in the air, and not one of the big battles fought yet. Just wait until you start Season 3. If this cleared it up, drop a like, tell me in the comments who you think had the better claim, and subscribe to see more breakdowns like this.